I think life, if you pay attention, if you remain sensitive on purpose, life brings you naturally to a point where you realize that all those things that you think are you, they have an uncanny tendency to fall off and be left behind along the way, and you don't even notice.
Mm.
And yet you still keep telling yourself that these other things that have grown around me right now, and I still haven't allowed them to fall off, it's me. And then 10 years on, they all fall off as well. But then others grow, and you think that that's you. I mean, once you've been through this loop a few times, you realize that's that's just ancillary stuff. Now, the real me is the pure subjectivity, and it's the same in you,
Yeah.
and it's the same in my cat. And I can imagine me being both of them so easily. And and then it becomes so bloody obvious what you are and what you are not. Uh, um, I,
Yeah.
I, why isn't everybody realizing this? I don't know. It's baffling
Yeah. Well,
that
well,
this seems to be difficult
yeah. I mean, it's
to see.
interesting, isn't it, that we're at a time when, say, ego identification, in my opinion, seems to be almost more heightened than ever before. Social media. There's social media is almost like a digital representation of it in many ways. There are certain characters on the world stage who you would sort of uh, associate with that. So it's an interesting time for sure, which is why I think it's as well very interesting you two coming together in this way. I think it's pretty profound, actually. You mentioned what it happens to be happening in subjectivity, and that would include all thoughts, all feelings, the story of me, our self-image, everything comes and goes. Rupert, how would you enable someone unfamiliar with this to really recognize that?
Throughout our lives, we think or feel, say, I'm 5 years old, I'm 15 years old, I'm 47, I'm 63, I'm studying at school, I'm falling in love, I'm eating dinner, I'm walking down the street, I'm having a conversation, I'm cold, I'm tired, I'm lonely, etc., 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 etc. I'm single, I'm married. Always the same I am, qualified temporarily by various ages, feelings, states, activities, and relationships. All of these are the temporary clothing, like Bernardo says, that they are the clothing that we wear. But there's one element of our experience that remains consistently present throughout all changing experience, just the awareness of being. I am. Now, if we take off, so to speak, all the layers of experience that are not essential to us, when we've taken off everything, when we've removed, we don't literally have to do it, but in our if we go to that place in our own experience that is unconditioned or unqualified by the content of our experience, that pure naked being, the pure I am, before it is colored or qualified by experience, it is without agitation, hence its nature is peace. There is no sense of lack in it, hence it is what we call joy or happiness. And the more deeply we sink into it, the more it loses its apparent limitations, because it borrows its apparent limitations from the content of experience. Divested of the content of experience, it, so to speak, expands. It doesn't really expand because it is always fully expanded, but it seems to expand. It grows wider and wider. And at some point, it's as if it flows out beyond the limitations of us as a person. And there is this, you described it beautifully, Bernardo, when you say you have the ability to feel your own core subjectivity, your own being, as the being of another. That's love. That's what love is, to be able to feel one's own being as the being of another. And it even goes beyond people and animals. At some stage there is this recognition that the being, the isness from which everything derives its apparently independent existence, is the same unqualified, unlimited being from which we derive our apparently independent existence. That's the experience of beauty. This identity with the object, that this recognition that the amness of the self is the isness of things.